What's up, friends? Gary here. It's day something, 24. Soon enough, I'm not even going to be taking track anymore because it's just a daily thing, you know. Day 24, making videos, making changes, kicking butt. So I hope you guys have had as good of a day as I have had today. Thursdays are always very transformative days for me. Big things always happen for me on Thursday, and today was no exception. So I hope that you watching this video, you had an awesome day today, because Lord knows I did. So today we're going to talk about the Law of Dharma. This is actually the last video in the 7 spiritual laws of success. The Law of Dharma. The Law of Dharma is simply, Dharma just means your purpose in life. Okay? It just means that when you're doing what you came here to do, essentially what it's saying is that every last one of us has a purpose in life. Every last one of us has an inborn talent and ability that we can do better than anybody else on this planet, whether it's being an artist, a musician, a teacher, a philosopher, whatever it may be. You have the ability to do something at such a high level that you can do it better than anybody else on this planet alive today. Your job, your dharma, is to find out what that talent or ability is and to refine it, to develop it at its highest absolute level. So a couple things, because this is the last lesson. This is a really good lesson, and in order to attain the level of dharma where you are living your purpose, you must fulfill the other 6 spiritual laws. So you have to be in connection to your higher self, or number 1, the law of pure potentiality. You have to be able to get in contact with that, which is, you know, it encompasses everything. Everything is just made of energy and intelligence. Every religion teaches that. Every science teaches that, so it's all the same thing, energy and information. So when we tap into that, then we can start moving forward into the law of giving and the law of receiving, where we're always of the giving nature, whether it's, you know, a blessing, whether it's a, you know, a physical present, whether it's a flower, it really doesn't matter. Then moving on, we've got the law of karma, which is a law of action, or the law of cause and effect. You know, every single action that you take, every choice that you make, every thought that you think has a consequence. So when we become aware of that and we start making better choices as far as our thoughts, our emotions, our habits, our words, everything that we do, our life changes. Which moves us on to the law of least effort. The law of least effort is simply the law of nature. Nature does not have to exert a lot of effort in order to grow, in order to fulfill its purpose, and neither should we. We, in the 21st century, we are so preoccupied with trying to attain symbols, whether that symbol is money, fame, you know, fancy cars, keeping up with the Joneses, things like that. That is putting you, then you are struggling, then you are forcing yourself, you're exerting a lot of energy into create transient things, and those things you'll wind up feeling hollow if that is what your life is all about, is just chasing material things. And then obviously yesterday's message was the law of detachment, so being detached from the outcome. Just doing your absolute best every single day and having your intention. I intend to accomplish this goal, but I am detached from the result, from the outcome. I'm going to do my absolute best in every moment, in every situation, and as long as you do that, everything will always work out okay. As long as you're a good person and you're giving life 110% every single day, you come from a place of love, appreciation, you care about other people and you want them to do good, you'll always do good. Just be detached. And that leads us to the law of Dharma. So the law of Dharma, there's a couple different things. Number 1 is all of us. We are all programmed. Our Dharma is to discover that we are spiritual beings. We are not physical beings. We're not this body. I've said this a million times. We're not our voice, we're not our eyes, we're not our clothes, we're not our cars. We are a spirit, we are energy, and we use this physical body as a vehicle to navigate this physical world. So it's our purpose to discover, let's just say, discover self. Discover true self. Okay, let's use that one even better. Discover your true self. Your true self is spiritual in nature. It's not material. And, again, that goes back to, the social programming, television, radio, advertising. It all keeps us focused in the material world so that we are distracted from discovering our true self. Okay? Number 2 is discovering your talents. Okay, so again, you have an inborn talent or ability that if you develop that, you could do that better than anybody else on this planet. Okay, so our Dharma to begin with is, number 1, you have to discover your true self, who you truly are. You're a spiritual being. You're here to expand and grow and learn and help other people. Help learn and discover and expand. Number 2 is you must discover your talent, what you are here best to do. Okay? And number 3 is asking, how can I best serve? How can I best serve? Okay? Because this question, how can I best serve other people? How can I best serve humanity? How can I best serve the planet? That is coming from a place of spirit. Okay? Whereas most of us, I'm guilty of this, just as when I look from a subjective standpoint, is everybody is guilty of this, is we usually come from the place of what's in it for me. Okay, and that's coming from the ego. Okay, this is destructive to who you are. That means you're only out for yourself. How can if it's not going to better my life, then I don't want anything to do with it. But when you ask, how can I best serve? What can I do to help? Whether it's helping an old lady across the street, or whether it's how can I donate to this organization that's feeding people? How can I best serve? What can I do? And how can I take my talent, the thing that I am the very best at, how can I take that and how can I serve humanity with that? Okay, so when you do that, you are then fulfilling your Dharma, your purpose in life. Okay? So here's a couple questions, at least one question. Yeah, here's a question that you can ask yourself to find out what your talent is, what you are best suited to do, and that is, if money were no concern, what would I do? Okay? If money were no concern, if time and money were of no concern, meaning that you had infinite supply of resources, you had all the money, all the riches, all the resources on the planet, you had all the time to do whatever you wanted to do, what would you do at a high level? Would you still work at your job? Would you still be flipping burgers? Would you still be, a receptionist? Would you still be a dental assistant? What would you do? Would you still do those things if you were doing it for free? Most people, I would venture to say, is no, they would not. They wouldn't. They wouldn't be doing what they're doing if money were no concern. Okay, so what are the talents and abilities? What are the desires that you have inside? Maybe that you had when you were a kid, but you had to, let go of them. What would you do if money were no concern? Would you be a musician, an artist, a ballerina, an astronaut? What would you do if money were of no concern to you? When you answer that question truthfully and honestly, boom, then you know what your talent is. You know what your dharma is. That is your purpose, is to do that. If you were to say, if money were no concern, and if I had the ability to create whatever I wanted, and I could build a spaceship, and I want to be an astronaut, and I want to go travel the universe and discover all sorts of new things, that is your dharma. That is what you're supposed to be doing. And unfortunately, you got caught in the hamster wheel of life, or the rat race, some people call it, where you got this crappy job, or I shouldn't say that, but you just got this job that you're doing every day, trying to make ends meet, trying to, feed your family and put a roof over your head. Okay, when in actuality, the best way that you could serve humanity is by being an astronaut. Okay? Now, here are some call to action. Here are some action steps for you to start putting and implementing into your life right away so that you can start getting closer to your dharma. Because here's the thing, people, is when you're doing things you don't want to do, and I already hear all the people saying, oh, well, you gotta do things you don't want to do. That's malarkey. I don't believe that. I simply don't believe that. I believe that life is meant to be a life of least resistance. That if when we open up to the infinite possibilities of life, then whatever we truly want in our heart of hearts will flow to us easily and naturally. I believe that. I am a living testament of that. Everything I've ever wanted in my life has flowed to me easily and effortlessly. Okay, it can happen for anybody. So for me, is number one is spend time in silence. And this seems to be a common theme in all of these lessons. Spending time in silence or meditation. Okay? Meditation. That is the way to connect, the very best way to connect to the source of all creation. That which you are, your essence, is that of spirit, is that of pure potentiality, pure energy. The very best way to connect to that source is through meditation. Okay, you cannot move on to the next levels or lessons until you have practiced that one. Okay, number two is make a list of your unique talents. Okay? Make a list of your unique talents. So for me, just as an example, I am fantastic with my hands. I've been a mechanic my entire life. There's nothing I can't do. I've completely torn down houses and completely rebuilt them pretty much all by myself. I've built a million different cars, motorcycles, anything that you could build with your hands, I could do it. Easy. It's no sweat. It just comes natural to me. It's my natural, unique talent. I can do anything with my hands. I'm very good with communication. It's another one of my talents. I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at expressing myself. I'm good at using vocabulary. Things like that. That's another one of my talents. Another one of my talents, I'm very good at taking in complex information. I'm good at taking in that information and making it simple, simplifying it. It's another one of my unique talents. Okay, 3. How can I best how can I help? How can I help? Okay, that's a question that you ask every day. Just start asking it. It just, just randomly asking that question, how can I help? How can I help? Because remember, when you ask that question, you are coming from your true self, which is spirit. Okay, rather than what's in it for me, which is the ego. So, to wrap it up, the law of Dharma. Dharma is simply a Sanskrit word. Sanskrit comes from India, and what that means is your purpose in life. Every single one of us has a purpose to fulfill, and even the guy who is cleaning floors. His purpose is invaluable. The entire system that we live in, the system of the universe, it does not work if those people are not fulfilling their dharma. Okay? Now, I personally believe that eventually there will be machines that will do all of the toiling, all of the cleaning, all of the tedious work. It will replace people. And you know, a lot of people, they want to hold on to that old idea of, you know, having a job and, you know, let's just say building cars, cleaning office buildings and stuff like that. Well, eventually those jobs will be taken over because those are mundane jobs, they're low-level jobs. And eventually they'll be taken over by machines. Okay, it's inevitable. And what will happen is that will free up more time for people to discover their dharma, their purpose in life, and fulfill that for the betterment of all humanity. So when you can get out of that the hamster wheel, as I call it, you know, the hamster's always doing his wheel thing. And that's what most people do. They're out working jobs that they hate, creating a lot of stress. And then here's the thing, it's a double-edged sword. You got to go to a job and work 10 hours a day, and you're missing all that time with your kids. So you're not raising your kids, you're taking your kids to preschool or daycare, or even worse, in my opinion, the public school system, which is atrocious, and you're letting them program your kids. You're letting them program your kids with their information. Okay, for me personally, that is just unacceptable. I would never want, you know, the public United States school system having anything to do with the information that's programmed into my children. That is just, to me, that's child abuse. So when you create that financial freedom, because remember, I'm all about teaching those 5 core areas of life, which are health, wealth, relationships, spirituality, and personal growth, or self-actualization. Okay? Here's the thing, here's what I'm getting at. Wealth, to me, is one in the 21st century, with all of the things that, you know, just our way and standard of life right now, the wealth area of your life is so important to take care of and to become highly successful in, because wealth creates freedom. You don't have to go to that 9-to-5 job anymore. You don't have to toil for your daily bread, so to speak, or to put a roof over your head. And then when you get that freedom, you can then spend time with your family, spend time with your children. You can start developing those relationships, those core relationships, because you don't really get to at a high level. At a high level, you cannot develop relationships when you're spending the majority of your time trying to just make money. Okay? When you're free, then you get to spend time on your health. Okay? When you have money, you get to eat the best foods. You get to get trainers who can teach you how to take care of your body, how to exercise properly. There's just so much information when it comes to our bodies and how intelligent they are, and how one person's body is going to react completely different to a certain type of food, like let's say carbohydrates, than a whole nother person, just based on blood type alone. So when you have the money, you can take your health to a high level. Okay, you can take your spirituality, because the best way to connect to your spirit and to attain those high celestial emotions of gratitude, contribution, and a real deep connection to whatever you want to call source of creation, that's giving back, being charitable, being truly grateful for everything that you have. And when you're stressed out and you're constantly thinking about how am I going to pay the bills, and you're chasing these symbols or false idols, because money to just have money and to hoard your money, that's chasing a false idol. Because you think that when I have $1 million, then I'll be happy, then I'll be secure, then I'll be free, so to speak. Okay? And don't get me wrong, there's a difference between that freedom, saying when I have $1 million, then I'll be free, rather than, you know, if you have a passive income stream meaning that you don't have to do anything. Meaning that, like, if you click the link above or you click the link to your right, you'll find out how you can create a passive income stream that makes money for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so that all of your bills can be paid. So it's not about being a millionaire. It's about, if you just made, $3,000 a month, that'd cover all your bills. You don't have to go to a crappy job anymore. Okay, that's what it's all about. And once you accomplish a certain level of energy and results in these 4 areas, then you get personal growth, and personal growth is Dharma. Okay? So, for me, we are especially, I can really only talk for Western United States of America culture. Okay, for me, the middle class and the lower class people, they are debt slaves. They are slaves to their debt. They have to go to a job or they will lose everything. They will lose their house, they will lose their ability to provide food, they will lose their transportation, they will lose the clothes off of their back. So they are a slave to the money. They are a slave to the debt. Okay? So, but when you create wealth, when you create affluence, and when you create a passive income, in fact, I'm going to write that down, so I'm going to talk about passive income in a video tomorrow, because it's very important and it's not hard. Most people don't understand money, so it scares them. They have negative emotions around the topic of money. But money is a very important topic in our lives because you cannot do anything. You cannot survive without money. Money is like having a bow and arrow back in like the hunter-gatherer days, or like having a club, or being, of a certain genetic structure way back when. It's a tool. And if you don't know how to use a tool, it's going to hurt you. If you don't know how to use a saw, there's a potential you cut your arm off. Same with wealth. If you don't know how to use money, if you don't know the real value of money, you're going to cut your hand off. Okay? And that's scary because a lot of people are living that reality. That's the truth. And it's getting more and more people, because of their ignorance towards money and towards wealth, they're falling further and further behind. And that's a scary position to be in. And so I want to leave you with this stuff. It's good stuff. So tomorrow I'm going to talk about passive income streams, and also I'm going to do a review of all of the 7 spiritual laws of success. So today is day 24. Super good day. Today is Thursday. I don't even know what day of the month it is, but I'm sure it's a good one. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. Until then, see you later.